This is Booking Agent by the pull requests. We also did the OCCC Visitation Challenge. Next slide. The major issue we wanted to solve was self-service for inmate visit scheduling, and we designed it for OCCC staff and visitors. For the users we looked at, there was 3 different stakeholders. There's visitors, scheduling staff, and the app side and server admins, which often get forgotten. I'm one of those folks, so I care about them a lot. For the users, they want to just work, they want ease of use and self-service. So the problem it solves for them is allows staff to store a visitor message, which gets sent via text and email, and also shown on visitor dashboards. The major capability is self-service of approved visitors to schedule visits, including stopping collisions of visitors who cannot visit the same day. Like the wife and the girlfriend can't come same day, it stops that. Visitors can update and review their PIN, see visitation times, and also cancel visits. And if your visit is canceled on you, it'll automatically notify you via text and or email. And also when your account is approved, it'll also send you a text or email. Next slide. So this is the visitor workflow. They register, they set their email and password, accept the terms, and then they wait. Next slide. After that, they'll get an approval message via SMS and or email when their account's approved. They can log in, select a time, and they get a confirmation that their visit is scheduled with an inmate. Next slide, please. From here, this is their major items they see in their menu. It's a WordPress website, and they can only see 2 things. They can schedule a visit, look at their profile, and see the terms of use, which they agreed to earlier when they registered. Next slide. The second stakeholder group is scheduling staff. They want to just work, they want to save time and capture data. Next slide. So the major capabilities it has for them is to replace a spreadsheet with a scheduling system. We have audit logs, search, including fuzzy search. So if you type in Mike Evans, it finds Mike Evers, even though you mistyped it. We have reporting and CSV exports, and replace post-its with secured info on visitors, such as notes, as well as for inmates. You can jump between the visitor, inmate, and visit records easily through links. And you can configure visitation terms, introductory emails, and web content without having an administrator get involved. The staff themselves can do it. Next slide. So this is the staff workflow. They have single sign-on using the Windows login service that the state's already moving towards. When they access a visitor, they can change their status, add a message, and down here you can see the inmates that are associated with that visitor. You could click on those links and go to the inmates page. Next slide. This is a single screen for schedule for a single day. So one of the major things that's going on that they showed us was they have a spreadsheet where they want to see all the visits for that day by time slot. So this replicates that. So rather than having to jump around and see different screens, on one screen you can see all the visits for a single day by time slot. You can also go into a single slot and drill down and see that as well. Next slide. This is the inmate screen where you can find all the inmates in the system. It's got the fuzzy search built in as well as exact search. And clicking on these columns will sort them for you. Next slide. It's also responsive, so if you shrink the screen, you can still see the table. So it doesn't just work on your computer, it works on tablets and phones as well. Thank you. Next slide. When you change visitor statuses, like for example, from protective custody to allowed visits, it'll automatically enter that into the audit log for you. You can also enter inmate notes on your own. And this works for both inmates as well as visitors. Next slide. These are the major items that are shown in the menu for staff: the calendar, generating time slots, visitation list, and of course, lots of CRUD operations for visitors and inmates. Next slide. And finally, the most important people, well, maybe not, the often forgotten people, the app side and server admins. 80% of the cost of an app is in maintenance, sometimes as high as 95%. So what you're seeing today, it almost doesn't even matter in the long term. So that's why one of the things that's very important to me is ease of maintenance, easy updates, fitting the technology roadmap for the state of Hawaii, and making it configurable. So when you have to make a small change, you don't have to write any code. You can just change it through the system. Next slide, please. For example, it fits the tech roadmap with single sign-on. It integrates with Offender Track with direct access or CSV because they're both RDMSs. You can configure it with parameter dates versus hard-coded. It's technology the state has competency in, which is WordPress. Security and accessibility are in there through the WordPress API. It's easy to update and deploy. Just one click, upload the plugin, it activates itself. And it can be hosted on Azure, which is something that the IT staff at OCCC mentioned to me. And WordPress also works with MS SQL Server if you wanted to with Project NAMI on Azure. Next slide. So some of the configuration options for admins are the time in advance visit can be scheduled, the length of slots, when female visits are versus male visits, terms, dress code, welcome emails, messages, and the login screen. Next slide. This is an example of an admin screen. It's not very pretty, but it's better than writing code. Next slide. This is a dress code screen. You can edit it. End users can do it. Next slide. And here's some little tidbits. One visitor can have multiple inmates. That's an edge case it deals with. The terms of use captures digital signatures. Staff can add visitors and stable profile even if they can't log in. and inmates and visitors have approved and disapproved statuses. Sorry, I'm out of time.